Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, so we're going with commodity today. So the last time we checked, the SEC was trying to call cryptocurrencies securities, apart from Bitcoin, that is. Now, a new bill in the States, different from the last one, wants to call some of them commodities. So what is this bill? Why has it been introduced? All the usual questions about policymakers trying to set rules for things they don't fully understand. We're going to have a look at those again for you. Authorities in the Philippines, meanwhile, are warning their citizens about Binance. Find out why in just a few minutes. And the Solana hack. I mean, we just did an episode on hacking. Honestly, it's hard to keep up.
Join thousands of NFT traders who already start their day on CryptoSlam.
All right, it's getting pretty dizzying, isn't it? All this back and forth between regulators and policymakers over what they want to call crypto. Crypto is crypto. Calling it one thing or another doesn't change what it does. Obviously, though, it does have some implications for all of us and for the rules we play by. So, how much of a big deal is this new US bill? Well, it comes from the very famous crypto regulator, the Senate Agriculture Committee, is that right? A bunch of senators want to call Bitcoin and Ethereum commodities, apparently. They then give the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, oversight of them and other digital assets. The idea, presumably, is that crypto would then have to play by the same rules as traditional financial institutions. Now, this is not the only suggested law on crypto in the US. There has been a raft of suggestions, including another Senate bill introduced back in July. That was backed by some different senators. Ben Emmons of Medley Global Advisors has told Forecast it's still difficult to say which of these proposed laws might ultimately make it to the Senate floor for a vote and therefore get close to becoming a new law. He said, though, there's not really bipartisan views on overall regulation and ultimately what agency is going to take responsibility for crypto in the States. Now, all of that leaves us pretty confused, frankly, and mercifully we have someone here to help clear things up a little bit. So let's chat to attorney Rafael Padilla of Block Devs Asia. Rafael, thanks for chatting to us and helping us with this a little bit. Rafael, tell us again why we should care about this definition in the States.
In general terms, when you speak of security, you have a financial instrument that is designed to allow its investors some profit share in a revenue generating venture. On the other hand, when you say commodity, it's just basically an asset and it's not necessarily a financial instrument. It's when you attach certain arrangements to that asset when it may become a financial instrument. Say, for example, a commodity futures or commodity-based derivatives, best examples of this. But as it is, commodity is just basically an asset. Can be a physical as hard asset, or it can be as proposed in the some of the Senate the Senate bill in the U.S. Digital commodity such as proposed, Bitcoin or Ether.
And why do we have this push and pull between the CFTC and the SEC? Why can't they get on the same side?
This happens because of potential overlaps, but we cannot blame these regulators because digital assets vary in form and substance, characteristics, features, purpose. And because of that, for some regulators, they might view certain cryptocurrencies as something that they regulate in the form of a security, depending on its specific characteristics.
And look, since this is a bill, it's probably got a long way to go before it becomes a law, a lot of debate, a lot of changes, the midterm elections obviously as well. What's your take on all of that?
You are correct that this will take a lot of time. But what can this also provide as a form of a benefit is that it is already giving securities regulators and policymakers in other jurisdictions some framework that they could potentially model.
And do you reckon other countries, particularly ones in Asia, for instance, are going to be looking at this for guidance to help understand and regulate what they're doing with crypto as well?
The United States, being a leader in the financial markets, could also set an example on how their colleagues in other jurisdictions, the securities regulators in other jurisdictions, could develop regulatory approaches when it comes to digital assets. So I really see this as a positive step forward. And who knows, some of the securities regulators globally might just adopt that. And we can just see somebody, if we see one securities regulator adopt this, and if it works in those jurisdictions, probably more jurisdictions will adopt it, especially those jurisdictions or countries who would want to position themselves as an ideal market or an ideal jurisdiction for crypto projects.
All right, Raphael, thanks so much for that. A lot to digest. I'm sure it's only going to be a couple of weeks before we're back calling you again about another flip-flop on this whole thing, so make sure you keep your phone on loud. Raphael Padilla there for us. All right, guess who's having a hard time in the Philippines? Yep, everyone's favorite boogeyman, Binance. This time, the Philippine Securities and Exchange Commission has warned people there not to invest in Binance. It comes after a think tank asked the SEC there to ban the crypto exchange completely. Forecast Jenny Ortiz has this report for us from Angono in the Philippines.
The Philippines SEC has taken a stance on Binance. In a letter seen by Forecast, it cautioned Filipinos not to invest with the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, as it's not a registered corporation in the country and it doesn't possess the necessary authority and/or license to solicit investments. The SEC also called on investor victims who may have been affected by Binance operations to file complaints for specific violations of the Securities Regulation Code, the Revised Corporation Code, and other applicable laws and regulations. The SEC letter is in response to public policy think tank InfraWatch PH's earlier request to ban Binance's operations in the country. This is the third time this year that InfraWatch PH has called on government agencies to ban the exchange. They first asked the country's central bank and the Trade Department to look into Binance's operations and possible violations. In a statement, Convener Terry Redon said the SEC's response provides policy clarity on the position of the Philippine government on unauthorized and unlicensed cryptocurrency platform operations in the country. A Binance spokesperson told Forecast they're fully aligned with the SEC's mission to protect users, and they look forward to having an open dialogue with the Commission and other industry participants. Earlier, Binance also said they're looking to secure VAST and EMI licenses in the Philippines. Forecast has reached out to the Philippine SEC for more comments, but they have not responded as yet. Jenny Ortiz, Forecast.
Okay, so we have to talk about this Solana hack. 8,000 wallets hit by an exploit, almost $6 million stolen. Solana has blamed the mobile wallet app Slope for the problem. Slope has basically said, yeah, maybe some of our wallets were affected. Slope users will no doubt be completely reassured that Slope is looking into it. Solana wants to make very clear, meanwhile, its protocol wasn't actually breached. Now, both the organizations have said that hardware wallets used by Slope do remain secure. All right, that's it from us. Like and subscribe to this video for more content like it, and let us know your comments on what's happening in regulation and in everything else.